We're living in the weirdest timeline. Opening up social media, you're going to be greeted with Gen X rise, fear-mongering TikTok shop promotions.
What in the Sasquatch Ewok Star Wars extra is that?
Or in today's case, trinkets. And as I discussed in one of my first videos here on YouTube, trinkets have become massively trendy in high fashion as well as all over social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Whether it's one of the many overdramatic vanilla mace Christmas tree blind box edits, resellers wiping out entire Pop Mart vending machines, or just people trying their hand to find an AliExpress bargain. But like with any trend that hits the mainstream, there are always going to be favorites that rise to the top. The certified Birkin bag standard amongst a sea of blind boxes and bag charms. Now, although Labubu first came out in 2015 from creator Kassing Lung's series The Monsters, it truly began getting its immense popularity in the mainstream market after Lisa from the K-pop group Blackpink was spotted throughout 2024 buying and wearing Labubus, with one of the Labubu exciting macaron bag charms actually hanging off her blue Constance Birkin bag, a bag which is valued at upwards of £10,000. And of course, if you know anything about Hermes, you can't simply just buy a Birkin bag. You have to be on a wait list for a very long time and also be a pretty good client to even get access to buying any kind of bag. So the fact that she was wearing such a cheap bag charm on such an expensive bag really was a fashion statement.
It's 4,000.
I know.
And there's a waiting list.
I assumed.
5 years.
For a bag?
It's not a bag. It's a Birkin.
Lisa undeniably helped to kickstart the mainstream popularity of Labubu, but she is by no means the only celebrity to invest in the Labubu boom, as musicians such as Rihanna, Dua Lipa, and of course an abundance of online influencers have been seen sporting a Labubu bag charm. Owning and wearing one of these low-cost blind box accessories is currently seen as a bit of a fashion status symbol. But of course, like any other online trend, fandom can very quickly turn into frenzy. Cars being broken into for the unsupervised Labubu in the front seat, huge lines outside of Pop Mart that last hours upon hours, and an influx of bootlegs to battle the online overconsumption. Labubus are a trend that is currently showing no signs of decline. And with the latest release of their new Big Into Energy series really taking off all over social media, let's explore the weird world of the Labubu boom. Overconsumption can happen in literally any hobby. Something which starts at just picking up one or two collectible items that really resonate with you can quickly spiral into an impulse that demands more and more of your hard-earned money. We saw how Stanley Cups went from a previously functional but fashionable travel mug to suddenly becoming an item so desired and trendy that kids are literally putting it on their Christmas lists.
Again.
Here we go.
It's a box.
People realistically can only ever need one or two of these lifetime warranty steel mugs, and yet many online creators have a whole wall dedicated to this Technicolor shrine of the Stanley brand. Not to mention literal fights in store over limited edition Stanley Cups. I am in no position to judge too harshly. I myself am just as guilty of over-consuming and collecting as literally anyone else, even more so in fact. I mean, being a collector does tend to come with the prerequisite of collecting things and owning things, but social media often pushes the extremes of these hobbies. Every upload being blind box hauls worth over £50 or more, or people showing off their second or third full set of the same blind box series. And unfortunately, Labubus have fallen victim to this in a big way. Videos uploading full sets of Labubus get millions upon millions of views, even though these full sets are often just the base common colours that you're already familiar with. Not to mention that the people who are regularly filming these videos often go on to buy the same set one or two more times in order to chase the secret, at which point posing the question as to whether they're buying out of genuine fandom or just out of fad.
The issue with Labubu is if you are a collector and you're not just in it for the hype at the moment, collecting and chasing the secret can get very, very expensive. If there's something I've learned from chasing the secret from the Macaron series, is that if you really want the secret, you're just gonna have to buy it from someone. Otherwise, you end up going down a pretty expensive rabbit hole.
These are bag charms after all. They're designed to be attached and removed at will. Realistically, how many ombre blue or sesame cream Labubus do you need when it comes to accessorizing your day-to-day beta bag or luggage? Do you really need a Labubu on every single purse that you own, despite the fact that you usually use the same purse for your day-to-day commutes and work? One account that's currently unboxed 2 full sets of the new Big Into Energy Labubu series almost exclusively exclusively makes unboxing and haul content on TikTok. Everything from squishmallows to Sephora gift bags and of course blind boxes. Sure, they might be a genuine fan of the things that they're buying and it's just a good opportunity to maybe recoup some of the money that they're investing into their hobby, but I always get a little bit suspicious when you have entire pages that are just dedicated to unboxing things. Or what about people taking back full sets of open Labubu in order to get an exchange?
We've literally just opened our full box and we got a duplicate. You're not supposed to get duplicates in a full box. We're actually fuming, so guess where we are? Hot Mart. Run me my money.
You see, when you buy a full set of blind boxes, what you're buying is either an entire set, which is advertised on the box, or you're buying every single one with the exception of one of the original designs being switched out with a super secret, which is incredibly hard to get. And so when one creator who was a keen collector of Labubu ended up buying a full set of the Big Into Energy series and ended up pulling 2 of the same basic color, they filmed themselves going to return the open set back to Pop Mart and allegedly received a brand new set entirely for free and got a refund for the set that they had brought back, bearing in mind that these sets cost over £100 a pop. Now, I totally respect being disappointed when receiving a duplicate when you've actively bought a set in order to avoid getting a duplicate. As a collector, I would also feel put out and maybe a bit cheesed if I was shorted. However, something about returning a full open set, which can assumably no longer be sold to anyone else, only to get a refund and a brand new box, just kinda leaves an icky taste in my mouth. Again, as a collector, I understand wanting my full set to be a full set, but this creator had already opened one full set of this same series beforehand, with this returned box being their second set. And they also planned to buy more boxes anyway in order to find the super secret rare, meaning that they probably could have just resold this dupe over on Vinted or given it away to a friend because they already posted the video where they got this dupe and assumably made their money back on that particular blind box through the creator fund. The second box would have been almost entirely dupes anyway, and when you already have one of each design, I start to question why getting a double of one color in one set is such a big deal. I'm really not trying to hate on this creator specifically because they are one of many creators doing these unboxings, but something about these videos and complaining about the extra dupe just feels a little bit tone deaf in the current economic climate of the UK. Buying over £200 of Labubu just to complain about getting an extra duplicate, and then going on to incentivize people to follow your account in order to win one of the many duplicates that you've got, just feels a little bit out of touch. Videos like this, unintentionally or not, overinflate the artificial value of any trend. People want to join in hunting for the secret Labubu, maybe buying one box to start, but then very quickly returning to try their luck again and again, turning a £17.50 blind box into an ongoing gamble. Because as much as we like to pretend otherwise, blind boxes are a soft form of gambling. The only reason that these aren't regulated in the same way as other forms of gambling is because you are always guaranteed a prize that is advertised on the box. But of course, it might just not be the thing that you're wanting, and so you're incentivized to go back and try again. In life, only 3 things are certain: our mortality, taxes, and that resellers will be the first to sniff out an opportunity to make money. We've seen the rise of resellers, aka scalpers, a lot more within pop culture over the last couple of years. Card and tabletop game fandoms such as Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Lorcana, and many others have already weathered their fair share of unethical sales. Pokemon especially has become notorious for resellers hoarding massive amounts of ETBs, booster boxes, and blister packs, meaning that most commonly found in-store stock is locked away like Fort Knox, or simply just taking away the availability of product from casual fans as a whole. Kids within the Pokemon community really struggle to get hold of any sealed product or cards whatsoever, all due to adult collectors and resellers getting in there first and taking everything away. It's honestly made the atmosphere around playing the game and just collecting for fun really sour, with some social media personalities now actively prioritizing kids' experiences when it comes to buying graded cards or wanting to trade cards in order to actually immerse them in the community and fight against these resellers and scalpers. And just like these TCGs, Labubus are a victim of their own popularity. Resellers are participating in hours-long lineups outside Pop Mart stores and Pop Mart vending machines, buying up as much stock as physically possible and leaving the shelves and vending machines bare for the fans standing behind them.
This is the first time I ever see this while doing an online store pickup order. We're here in the first place to pick up a Fall in the Wild Labubu plush doll, and this is the one we're finally getting. After picking this up, I was gonna leave, but I did did have another pickup order to do. They told me to wait a little longer while they get more macarons from their other stockroom. While coming to do this online pickup order, I saw an unusual sight, a reseller selling in front of the store Pop Mart. I know some of you want to know what's up with that. Maybe you want to know the prices. So I did go investigate for you all. Hi, we're wondering how much you're selling the macarons?
35 for macaron.
Oh, 35 para los macarons, los que están parados. Y estos
30.
30. Ajá, 30. Oh, porque allí los tienen a 21.
Data is I have someone who wants it for 40.
It seems like there's currently no in-person limit as to how much product you can buy in one go when it comes to Labubus. A quick look at Vinted or eBay will inundate you with weirdly expensive bootleg Labubus or incredibly overpriced authentic ones, with the new series often being priced at £30 or more depending on the popularity of the colorway, and the secret black Labubu from this series going for upwards of £300. It's painfully apparent that these once affordable trinkets are now edging out of availability for many regular people. Labubus are being held in the same high regard as designer accessories such as Hermes's horse charm, something which is worth over 10 times the price. Resellers combined with the trend cycle of overconsumption have made these blind boxes incredibly hard for the average working person to find. The idea of trinkets being a little treat after a long work week has now been co-opted into this rabid collectathon. You can no longer stroll into a Pop Mart after work and pick up a Labubu bag charm, or even some of the other popular bag charms, because more often than not they are entirely sold out. So what do you do if you can't afford an overpriced Labubu on Vinted, but you also can't buy them in store? How can you or any other average working person participate in this trend? Bootleg figurines are something that I am intimately familiar with. As a figure collector for the best part of 15 years, I have had my fair share of exposure with bootleg anime figurines at in-person events and online. They're often tempting for many new collectors due to the low price tag and deceptively good product photos, fooling those less aware or those on a tighter budget into purchasing. However, if we know anything about bootlegs, we know that they seldom ever look like the real thing. Whether it's a strong, fishy smelling glue emanating from the package as soon as you open it, or really badly applied paint jobs, bootleg collectibles rarely live up to their promise. But for fans and followers of Labubu, they are surprisingly accepted and even have their own spin-off micro-trend.
I'm scared. What does that even say? Bitch, it looks like a demon wearing the skin of a Labubu.
Lafufu is the affectionate name given to a knockoff Labubu. Something which started off as a disappointment for fans who had hoped they got a bargain on a new bag charm has now turned itself into its own chopped but charming collectible. Fans are actively buying into this Labubu subcategory, with fans trying to find the most cursed possible Lafufus from places like Temu, AliExpress, or even local markets that are suspiciously well stocked. And to be fair, you can find some really high quality Lafufus, ones that genuinely rival the at times inconsistent quality control of the real thing. But man, some of these other Lafufus are insanely cursed. We're talking a weird fleshy BJD wearing the skin of a Labubu, or Lafufus that are in desperate need of facial reconstruction. Many Labubu collectors actively choose to also buy Lafufus, wanting to participate in this trend and also compare the bootleg to their authentics. But to be clear, as much as Lafufus are a funny meme that isn't unappreciated by me, I do think it speaks to a slightly bigger issue, because for as much as Labubus are not marketed or designed to be a kid's toy, they definitely do appeal to children and tweens, especially those who have access to social media or just watch as their parents also participate in these trends. If little girls that my sisters go to school with can be pipelined into caring about skincare within primary school or wanting Stanley Cups for Christmas, it should be no surprise that they could also gravitate towards trends like Labubu. And for many kids and just many families as a general in the current climate, spending upwards of 18 quid on a real Labubu just isn't a realistic luxury for a lot of people. Again, especially considering the issues of resellers and overconsumption that we've already looked at. So many taxpayers and younger people only really have the option of looking at Lafufus, something which is seen as funny for people who already own or can afford to own real Labubu, but is otherwise kind of a reminder of what you can't afford for people who have no other options. It reminds me of how Champion used to be considered the less cool or even poor kid brand back when when I was a kid, but has now in 2025 been rebranded as trendy and retro, leaning massively on the current popularity of Y2K nostalgia. People who actively would have stuck their nose up at wearing Champion back when it was considered tacky are now happily buying into it and wearing it en masse now that it's considered on trend. Something which was an only option for many people has now become the trendy popular option. Now understandably, it may be a wise choice to not give a kid something that is hard to replace to put on their bag, and so that does make these Labubu dupes a more desirable alternative. But as a figure collector who has been collecting for a very long time, I just want to push a gentle warning. Bootleg figures, collectibles, and toys are not considered safe, especially for young children. You see, real products have to go through a variety of very strict testing as well as regulations in order to be safely sold in store in the West. This includes things like fire safety, chemicals, and a bunch of other very necessary things that you just may not consider when purchasing an item in store. However, bootlegs don't go through this process at all, meaning that when they're cutting corners to keep costs low and profits high, it's not uncommon for the materials and handling to be considered unsafe. For example, paintwork on bootleg figurines has been known to contain materials such as lead, something which, if ingested or absorbed through the skin over a prolonged period of time, could definitely cause you health issues. There can also be issues with plastics and sealants used, once again causing irritation to your skin or potentially damaging your health. Not to mention the unknown environment of where these things were made.
Your action figures are literally killing you. I've been collecting for over a decade and I noticed a huge trend in the support and excitement of bootleg action figures. And CT Toys is maybe one of the most popular ones due to their high quality and low price point. I'm constantly getting requests to review them on my YouTube channel. But did you know, if you read the fine print, that these figures can actually kill you? Disclaimer on all of their websites is this product could expose you to chemicals including phthalates, microplastics, which is known in the state of California to cause the C word, and birth defects. What? And people on Twitter actually asked them and called them out, and they're deleting and hiding replies.
Now, I won't pretend that these risks are putting anyone in imminent danger, because it's very likely not. But I think for a lot of people who aren't really into collecting, they never really stop to wonder why these bootlegs are so cheap and what is going into making these bootlegs. In my opinion, as a veteran collector of tat, it's probably best to avoid bootlegs where possible. Or a bare minimum, don't give them to a kid who is not equipped to handle them properly and is liable to putting these lafufus into their mouths. Throughout this video, I probably seem like a right hater, yapping on about how bad this trend is and all the negatives that come with any popular trend. However, I do want to highlight that this trend and the general boom around trinketry has definitely brought a much needed revival to whimsy. As adults, the expectation is that we're automatically meant to age out of fun hobbies or things that can be seen as immature. We're meant to start assimilating to a society that rewards uniformity. All the things that we enjoy have to be neutered into this beige adult version. Even just comments online that tell you that you're pushing 30 or that you're too old for this. But with trends like Labubu, we're seeing people from all walks of life feeling comfortable expressing themselves and their interests. You have people from the upper class and wealthier sections of society visually sharing a hobby with people from the working class. These wearable forms of identity gently chip away at the divide of wealth and status. Because these charms are not designer or exclusive, they're commonly found on the high street. And for many who are big into Labubu, they even take it a step further and customize their critter, buying cute outfits for their boo-boo that match their own aesthetic, or even giving them matching facial tattoos. Labubus have inspired a much greater interest in wearable fandom, and have influenced many other established brands to follow their lead with bag charms and functional collectibles. My only hope is that these Labubus don't end up in charity shops or thrift stores en masse as soon as this trend dies down. And I also hope that people keep up the same positive energy for signs of self-expression, even when Labubus are no longer at their peak. Because for many of us, wearing our hobbies and interests loud and proud isn't a new thing. We've been doing bag charms and eater bags before Labubu was even a thing. I don't want people to go back to shaming others for wearing cute little accessories or trinkets, especially with this new scary rise of conservatism in both fashion and fandom spaces, which is definitely a topic I'm going to be touching on in a future video, because oh my god, conservatism is ruining everything. It is making alternative spaces, alternative fashion, J-fashion, collectible spaces, fandoms, insufferable to deal with. As an old school geek, nerd, weeaboo, whatever you want to call me, Oh my god, fandoms should not have conservatism mixed in. So often it just waters down and neuters all of the fun out of it, and it's a real problem. This is going to be in a video coming soon. Oh my god, I hate it. We need to stop. If I see one more person complaining about what people are wearing to anime conventions, I'm gonna scream. But as always, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Drop a comment telling me whether you love Labubus or you lament Labubus. Do you wear a bag charm when you go out on your day-to-day? And if so, what are you rocking on your bag? And don't worry, I'm literally gonna show you right now what I've got on my bag currently. I have a lot of bag charms all over my bags, but I actually don't have a Labubu on any of my bags. I have a bunch of random stuff, but I do not have a Labubu. On my hot pink MCM bag, I actually have this really cool Peter Griffin rosette that was made by Void666, I believe, who's like a UK artist, and I got this at a convention. So I have this cool Jirai K alternative fashion style Peter badge on my MCM backpack. I also have these super cool little cat tails, which are spotty, and I also have this cool little clear pouch with this almost Menhera-chan inspired artwork on the front. Again, it's really, really good for carrying hand sanitizer, and it just looks really, really cute on my bag. I actually took off the original MCM bag charm that came with this bag too to replace it with this other stuff because the other stuff is way more fun. I'm also going to be adding these little Jumino Jewel melon pan turtle keychains to some of my bags soon as well because I finally got them. I said I was going to get them in another video. I finally got them, so I'm going to be adding these to my bags too. And another one of my favorites is this super cute little whale shark coin purse and pass holder. It is perfect whenever I visit Japan because I can put my Suica card in here and I can put all my coins in here, and I love sharks. Sharks are my big thing. If you ever see me at an anime convention or a meet and greet, please bring shark-themed memorabilia because I do have a whole collection. I just don't talk about it that much, but I collect anything with sharks, and this is one of my favorites, and I always put this on my bag when I go to Japan. Speaking of which, I'm actually going to be at MegaCon Manchester this July, so you can come and meet me at some of my panels and my meet and greet. So I guess if you're going to be attending, if you're going to be in Manchester and you're planning to go to an anime convention or a geeky convention, come and check out MegaCon Manchester. It's going to be really, really fun. I always get on well with the MegaCon team, and I will be doing panels and meet and greets, and I'll announce those times over on my Instagram stories a little bit closer to the actual date because I don't have the times yet. But yeah, if you want to come and say hi, that would be the time to do it. Not gonna lie, I could actually probably do a full video just on my trinkets and doing a trinket tour because I own a lot of trinkets and bag charms and I like accessorizing and I just find them really, really fun. That's maybe a future video, I don't know. But yeah, I will be doing a room tour as well because I know a lot of people in my YouTube shorts and just on my YouTube videos as a general really want to see all of my collection and actually get an in-depth look at my office, so that video will be coming soon too. And as always, if you love what I do, if you enjoy the videos that I make, then make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell icon beside it to never miss an upload. If you want to support what I do entirely for free, then make sure to drop a comment, leave a like, save the video, and share it with a friend who maybe is a little bit too Labubu obsessed. Or maybe they're a Labubu hater and you want to join in the fun. And if you miss me between uploads, then don't worry because I also have an Instagram and a TikTok where I upload every single day. So you can see all of my outfits, you can see all of my adventures, even when I'm not here on YouTube uploading full-length video deep dives into trinkets and pop culture. I also have a lot of videos planned based around pop culture and fashion coming up as well. I've got a lot of fashion videos I'm working on, so don't worry, I'm gonna go back to fashion a little bit too. I just have so many interests. If you followed me on any other social media, you know this. So I want to just make this like a really fun page for everything that I'm passionate about, and hopefully that bleeds through and you feel the same amount of passion that I do. But as always, it is the end of the video and it's time for an outfit check and looking at some of your fan art. Bye! Hello, it is time for the end of the video outfit check. And you know what? There's actually not a lot of stuff to today's outfit, but we're gonna go through it anyway. So on my head, you may be familiar with it, but we have the AC/DC rag kind of gothic Lolita-esque headband. Next up, we have my Vivienne Westwood bas relief choker in the black colorway. And I feel like I never really get an opportunity to wear it because I'm not much of a pearl choker person, but I think it does work really well with this outfit. And then this slightly unironed dress is from Liz Lisa. I know I should have seen this dress before filming this video, but I started filming really late and I didn't want to make myself even later by procrastinating and steaming the dress because I know that would mean in my brain that I start doing chores and don't do filming until even later. So I just decided to wear a crinkly dress for this video. But I do think this outfit looks really cute. It's my first time trying it on properly with makeup and the headdress, and I think I'm going to wear it tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.